Hey YouTube, Ham, back at home finally, up here in the office. A lot of catching up on to do here. We have a contest and winners to announce a little bit later on tonight, and a bunch of other things. Got some great shots to show you from Hurricane Irene down on the Outer Banks. We were basically in Kitty Hawk and then Nag's Head, which are not too far apart. But we did go as far down as Apex and Buxton, North Carolina. If you're familiar with the Outer Banks, you know how far down we went with our television crews. And I thank you for all the good wishes that everybody had while we were out there. But I came home, started catching up, doing a ton of paperwork and emails and everything else, and saw some stuff that really kind of bothered me a little bit. So if you don't mind, I would like to get on my little soapbox here for a second in support of a very good friend of mine. You know him as Gavco. I have the honor of being able to call him Mike, his real name, and I consider him to be a true asset to all of us here on YouTube that enjoy knives and gear and prepping and stuff like that. And you've all seen his skill with Kydex and his ability to work magic when it comes to knives and handles, scales on folders and handles on large knives and things like that. And you're familiar with this. This is the item that has been causing some controversy, and he just did a very good video on his own supporting this. There have been some people on YouTube that have been downplaying this tool, okay, the Widgydashy. Well, I'm here to chip my 2 cents in, not only in support of my friend, but also in support of what I think is a very good idea. This thing has just been through a hurricane, literally. A Category 3 storm. Hit it about a Category 2, but still, I was out in it. I wasn't hiding in the hotel. I wasn't sheltered, okay? I was out in it, sometimes supporting a crew that was right on the shoreline with the surf and the wind and the rain coming in, okay? And I had this in my pocket. And I used it in a number of different ways. I used it to cut open containers. I used it to cut rope. I used it to pry things open. I used it to wedge a door at one point. Not a door, well, a hatch on an equipment bay. I actually shoved this into it, in the container, in the sheath, excuse me, and I shoved it into that door to hold it open so that we could get what we had to get done, okay? This is not a knife. It was never designed to be a knife. It has an edge on it, yes it does, and a very good edge, and a very usable edge in general situations, okay? This is a knife, okay? It has a much finer edge. Okay, maybe some of you don't think that's much of a knife, but okay, it's a knife. It's designed to be a knife. Sometimes it gets used for other things, but it is primarily a knife. You wouldn't use this as a pry bar unless you had to. You wouldn't use it as a bottle opener unless you had to. You wouldn't use it as any other sort of tool unless you had to. It's designed to be a cutting instrument. This is designed to be everything. It is a pry bar. It is screwdrivers. It is a pull. It is a wrench. It is a tool holder, a socket for screwdriver bits. And it also happens to have a cutting edge on it. Is it primarily a knife? No. Is it primarily any one of these tools? No. It is all together in one small pocket-sized device that can be carried on a lanyard. This hung around my neck for 3 days. You don't want to know how many bottles I opened with this thing. Okay, at some point, there's nothing else to do except sit under somewhere and drink. Bingo! Okay, very handy. I had to cut lines. There it is. I used a full set of bits Let's see if I can find it here. Hold on just a minute. Well, I've put it somewhere. Is it? No. I unpacked and I put them somewhere, and now I can't figure out what I did with them, but I had a full set of small bits from a screwdriver that I carried with me that I used in this, okay? And I also pulled a couple of nails, and I told you the other things I used it for, okay? As a quick little temporary fix, you can't beat this thing. I used it in a lot of different situations, and it kept on coming. All right, you can't fault this. Did I use it as a knife to cut things? Yeah, a couple times I cut some line, I opened boxes, I did some other things. Yeah, the edge comes in extraordinarily handy. But did I grab this instead of grabbing this when I needed to? No, I grabbed a knife. This was never designed to be a knife. So everybody who's complaining about, well, the steel's kind of inferior, it's soft, it's not, it's not knife grade steel. Folks, it was never meant to be knife grade steel. This is an idea by somebody who had the balls to take their idea, get it made, and get it into the hands of other people. Okay? You think everybody loved the Model T when Henry Ford came out with it? No. They went back to their horses. They went back to their carriages. They went back to other forms of transportation until it caught on. Here you go, folks. Good old ingenuity at work. Somebody had an idea, they got it made, and they offered it for no other reason than to help you out. And that's exactly what this did. You want a walking testimonial as to how good this thing is? I'm the walking testimonial. And I'm not just doing it out of friendship. I'm doing it out of honesty, because I won't lie to you. This thing got grabbed more often than this. More often than this. Why? Because it was right there on my neck. I could pull it down and do what I had to do with it. Okay? When I had to get something better, I grabbed this. When I had to do better cutting, I grabbed this. But there it is. The Widgydashy did great. And I'll tell you something else. You talk about sharpness. Mike told you. There's a diamond bar in the pocket tool. I've sharpened this 3 times on this, in the field. And every time it came right back up to acceptable quality, to where I could cut a rope, to where I could cut plastic tie wraps, to where I could do whatever I needed to do with it as a temporary tool. Not as the be-all and end-all. Okay, I'm not going to walk down the street not carrying one of these. I'm not going to walk down the street not carrying 1 or, 2 or 3 of these. But I'll tell you what, when I needed to grab something real quick for a general purpose, there it is. So you know what? Deal with it. There's something that works. When you need to grab something, if you got this in your hands, 9 times out of 10, you get the job done. And that's the best recommendation I can give. Get a life. While you're at it, get one of these. See ya.